Hey folks, Artie Farty here. Okay, now we're up to setting up the train controller so the train will stop automatically, just like this is doing right now. So in the next two parts we'll be going through how to set the automation for stopping. Well folks, here's my layout setup at the present moment, and I'll show you what I've done to have my engine like the 7006 stop exactly where she has to stop on the marker. As you see here in the block, .7006 is in the passing siding, as is seen at the beginning. So let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so how did I do it? Let me show you. So up in the top left hand corner, we need to go back into edit mode. So we're going to click on edit mode, and let's go to block 13, which is my diesel runaround. Now, if you see my other previous tutorials on how I wire my layout, I have my block numbers and where they go to for easy correspondence. Of course, I've got it written down on a piece of paper and connected accordingly. What you'll need to do is now is we'll do the block 13, the diesel runaround. I'll show you the setup on here. So what I do is double click, and it opens up the properties window like such. Now, as you remember previously, I had set up my maximum speeds and restricted speed in this block. Again, I'm doing in kilometers an hour or in metric. You will see why very shortly why I've gone to metric. For me, it's easier to do the measurements, but for this portion here, the metric or the decimal system works a lot easier than the imperial. Okay, so okay, what do I need to do? I've got to go into block editor, and this is where we do all the setting up. Okay, now as you see, I've got series of arrows and numbers. Okay, the numbers here represent the stopping point for the engine when it hits the block, how far the engine has to travel in that block before it's required to stop. The yellow is the braking, so the last 46 centimeters of this run is when it starts slowing down to come to a stop. That's your braking portion. The 25 centimeters here is the delayed reaction time for it to brake. So what that means is the train will travel 25 centimeters before the brakes activate for it to start slowing down to crawl and stop. So how do I get my measurements? Well, let's go to my layout and I will show you. Okay, as you see here, we're at the we'll call it my western end of my layout, and I'm going to show you where my block is. At this stage, it's crucial to know where your block joints is to make your measurements. So this block here is one continuous block for me, and it starts from this joint here where my finger is. So there's an isolated joint there, and from here to just in front of the engine is one continuous block for me. So for me to have the train stop between this point here to where it is now on the screen, it's 76 centimeters. What I do is what I have done is to make it easier to make your measurements reasonably good and close to accurate, I'll get one of these seamstress tape measures. Yes, I do have imperial on the other side. It's both metric imperial. So I've decided I wanted my engine to stop just before the switch there at the start of the shed. So I put the tape measure to the front of the engine, the buffer, follow it through like so along the contour of the track, down to my isolation joint. In actual fact, that is 72 centimeters. Trying to work out why I've got 76, but it seems to stop where it is. So 76. It's an extra 4 centimeters, so it gives me an extra buffer. 76 from there. Yep, 76. So I've got a tolerance of basically 4 or 5 centimeters, which is the whole section. So between here to here is 77 centimeters. The engine stopped pretty much where it is. So the engine's pretty much stopped where it's required. Now, when it hits this section, 25 centimeters if we travel. So from the joint there to the switch is free flowing. And then from here to where it stops, it starts braking. And in the last 4 or 5 centimeters, it comes to a crawl. So that's how you get your measurements, and that's how you input your measurements on screen. Now, the next bit that we're required to do is to do a speed and brake calibration of engine, or your engines that you intend to use. Now this takes a bit of a process, and I will show you guys in the next step.